Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show, your one-stop shop for weird news, spooky, and otherworldly and paranormal shenanigans. We'll take a dive into what's going on in creepy pop culture. You can follow Creepin' It Real Show on Twitter at creepin_it. You can email us at creepinitrealshow@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, creepinitrealshow.com. Without further ado, welcome to this week's episode.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hello? Are you still recording? I'm on, motherfucker!
He's back. Did we get any of what we talked about?
We got all you know me.
I mean, it's gonna make no damn sense in context because I just react to what you say.
Yep, pretty much. So, quick. So I had bad audio problems. So real thing, don't fuck with people. Keep your hands to yourself, and don't be a racist asshole. That's pretty much what our PSA was about. And we also relived a lot of personal stories that y'all are never gonna get to hear. Well, you'll probably get to hear them one day, but not tonight because we gotta move on. I got shit to do today. And so, that's right. So we fucked up. Hold on. Are you still, you talk real quick.
Talking
Okay, yep.
Tessie.
Shit's getting recorded now, finally. Sweet.
The podcast gods are not being kind to us tonight. And, we're suitably drunk and ready to do this thing. So I don't know what the problem is.
I cannot believe Mercury is not in retrograde right now because it's exactly what this shit's doing. So,
all of that you said.
Mm-hmm. The shit of this shit on the shit is happening. So, okay, so talk about the mermaid song because that shit looks scary.
Okay. So I think I posted it on our Facebook page if y'all want to figure out what we're talking about. But we're talking tonight about about fairy tales.
Horrors and fairy tales.
Fairy tales.
All of it.
Wherein, the origins of Grimm's horror or fairy tales, Jesus Christ, their origins are horrific and not good. And Hans Christian Andersen ones are spooky and blah, blah. They're not the Disney versions, although if you think too much about the Disney versions of these things, they are also terrifying if you think about them too hard. But at any rate, this new movie that's coming out takes the Little Mermaid story and makes it scary AF. At least that's what it looks like from the trailer. It's called A Mermaid Song, and it stars, I'm going to try this again, Iwan Rowan. Ewan Rowan? I'm going to go with that. From Game of Thrones, who's best known for playing Ramsay Bolton. And I cannot watch him without wanting to punch him in his dumb face, so I'm hoping that he plays a villain because...
He's such a horrible dick.
Not sympathetic.
That poor guy, though. Seriously, think about
right?
that.
Well, I've seen him on, talk shows making light of how everyone wants to punch him in the face. So, I mean, good on him. Maybe he'll get older and look different, and then no one will want to punch him in the face anymore. But for now, I'm really happy if I find out that he gets eaten by this mermaid who starts off all I'm a pretty mermaid, and then gets teeth and, eats your shit. Probably not actually your poop, but, Anyway. So with that being said, watch that movie when it comes out, next month or something. And we're going to talk about the dark themes.
That's your news? Or something.
Yeah.
It might come out. Things are going to happen.
Stuff and things,
We've been
whatever.
drinking a lot, so we were...
Well, I've been pounding because last time we did this, Christy was like, you're not drunk enough. And I'm like, I'm Mexican. It's hard to get drunk. So, but am I a Mexican or a Mexicant? I'm a Mexican. So I came home and I opened a can of beer and then another one and then another one in a 30-minute span of time. So I am champion.
Okay.
But you're supposed to read about dark themes and grim folk tales, and the source is actually history.com. So it's legit and shit.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right. Work with me, people. Once upon a time, graphic violence, a particularly horrific incident occurs in the robber bridegroom when some bandits drag a maiden into their underground hideout. force her to drink wine until her heart bursts. Jesus, I want to go out that way. Rip off her clothes, and then hack her body into pieces. Other tales have similarly gory episodes. In Cinderella, the evil stepsisters cut off their toes and heels, trying to make the slipper fit. Ew. And later have their eyes pecked out by doves. Yeah. And the Six Swans, an evil mother-in-law, is burned at the stake. In the Goose Maid, a false bride is stripped naked, thrown into a barrel filled with nails, and dragged through the streets. What the fuck? And in Snow White, the wicked queen dies after being forced to dance in red-hot iron shoes. Even the love stories contain violence. The princess in The Frog King turns her amphibian companion into a human, not by kissing it, but instead by hurling it against a wall in frustration. Girl, I get you, girl. I got yes, I understand. Frustration.
I just want to keep drinking and read the words robber bridegroom like 5 times fast. But
That was hard.
Grimm fairy tales also feature child abuse. Even more shockingly, much of the violence in Grimm's fairy tales is directed at children. This is creepy. Snow White is just 7 years old when the huntsman takes her into the forest with orders to bring back her liver and lungs. In the In the Fuck Me Tree, a woman decapitates her stepson as he bends down to get an apple. Step kids can be annoying.
Yeah,
anyway, she then chops up his body, cooks him in a stew, and serves it to her husband, who enjoys it so much he asks for seconds. Snow White eventually wins the day, as does the boy in the Fuck Me Tree, also known as the juniper tree, who is brought back to life. But not every child in the Grimm's book is so lucky. The title character in Frau Trude turns a disobedient girl into a block of wood and then tosses her into a fire. And in The Stubborn Child, a youngster dies after God lets him become sick.
So, what the fuck? Why? Okay. All right. Oh, good. I get to read about incest. Okay. Incest in all kinds of fur. A king promises his dying wife that he will only remarry if his new bride is as beautiful as her. Unfortunately, no such woman exists in the whole world except his daughter, who ends up escaping his clutches by fleeing into the wilderness. What in the actual fucking fuck is all of this? I mean, are these real fairy tales?
This is really, so Grimm, that's where the term, I'm making this up, but also
Grimm is like,
Grimm comes from like, these are not happy stories. And even if you think, we'll get into it, but if you think too much about like The Little Mermaid, even the Disney version, she's like 16 years old when she meets her guy and like gives up her life and her family for a guy she just met. Like, these stories are actually pretty horrific, even in the Disney like purified version. But these are the origins. Now, I took out the part about this because I didn't want to get a soapbox, but most of the stories are kind of based off of like the point of these stories, as with most oral traditions back in those days, was to basically warn people about like premarital sex and like immoral behavior, murder, coveting someone else's
acting up as a kid clearly is also a problem. Like, cut you into pieces.
The stubborn child, and they'll like God will strike you down if you're a stubborn child. Like, my kids would be dead before they even came out of my womb because they're very stubborn. But yes. So these are supposed to like teach kids to be scared shitless, quite frankly. And nowadays we don't put things that way, and I don't know. But this one's fucked up. So anti-Semitism, the Grimms gathered over 200 tales for their collection, 3 of which contain Jewish characters. In The Jew and the Brambles, the protagonist happily torments a Jew by forcing him to dance in a thicket of thorns. He also insults the Jew, calling him a dirty dog, among other things. Later on, by enunciating while you're drinking is hard. Later on, a judge doubts that a Jew will ever voluntarily give away money. The Jew in this story turns out to be a thief and is hanged, and in The Good Bargain, a Jewish man is likewise portrayed as a penny-pinching swindler. During the Third Reich, the Nazis adopted the Grimm's tales for propaganda purposes. They claim, for instance, that Little Red Riding Hood symbolizes the German people suffering at the hands of the Jewish wolf. I never saw that in there, but okay. And the Cinderella's Aryan purity distinguish her from her mongrel stepsisters.
Mongrel.
Cute.
Very nice.
I'm surprised that we're not recycling Grimm fairy tales under current political circumstances. But anyway.
Shit. Moving on.
Shots fired.
The darkest and most disturbing fairy tales. Oh, we're going to go there, are we?
Do it.
The Little Mermaid. Why do you got to put in these big words? With its eponymous female character.
Eponymia.
Eponymous.
With female characters.
Female character having become a landmark of Denmark in the form of a statue. The original tale by Hans Christian Andersen is one of the more tragic of all stories in the entire fairy tale canon. I didn't know there was a canon of fairy tales. That sounds magical.
Yeah, shoot it, yo.
Unlike the more child-friendly versions in which the Little Mermaid chases and finds her happiness, the original mermaid never succeeds in gaining the prince's love. However, unlike the darker and more cynical undertones revealed in other folklore, the original Little Mermaid tale shows the rewards that come from self-sacrifice, as she, the mermaid, chooses to become sea foam. Really? Then, rather than kill the man who has earned her unrequited love. Both heartbreaking and uplifting? Okay. The Little Mermaid is a complex exploration of the issues involving social class and doomed aspirations. Ooh.
Way to bring it down.
Seafoam.
But don't worry, because I opened another beer. So we're going to be okay.
Well, thank God. Does it have seafoam in it? It could be the Little Mermaid.
I don't know which is better, to become seafoam or to be 16 years old and married to a guy you don't know just because he's hot.
And you can't talk, right? You're like, hey, I like you. Can't talk.
She didn't talk for a while, and then she had to, lose her tail. And I was like, girl, you keep that tail because the boys are chasing tail. You don't give your tail up. That's just silly.
In case you're wondering what this sound is, I'm slapping my boobs because I spilt water, or not water.
Oh, my God. My 2-year-old was in the pool with me the other day, and I don't know. I'm going to say she learns the stuff from her sister because that's what I'm going to say. But I was wearing a bikini, as you do in a pool, and she was slapping my boobies, and she was like, I like boobies, I like boobies. And it was
who doesn't?
Super awkward, but also funny. I was like, you're preaching to the choir. So
who doesn't like boobies? Boobies are great.
Boobies are great. Even girls like boobies.
I like boobies. What's wrong with boobies?
I love them. I have a question.
Do you like
40-year-old
boobies, Ricky?
virgin?
I like boobies.
Who
doesn't like boobies?
Ricky came to refill my beverage, and he says he likes boobies.
Boobies!
He better. I got enough of them.
Let's drink to boobies real quick. Hold on. Everybody out there, if you have, even if it's stupid water, just be lift it and be like, boobies. Yay, boobies.
Boobies are awesome. I mean, they're great. I don't like mine because they're a little too big. If I could just tame them down a hair, that would be
They're so
great.
big. It's hard to wear things, but also I can get fat and it doesn't show, so it's neat.
That's true. It does hang over my roll, so it's kind of hides it. So that's nice.
We should motorboat if we go to New York City. It'll be fun.
Oh, we won't. We'll motorboat. Anyway, by the way, real quick, hadn't got to tell you, but I'm going to tell you now because it's so exciting. When we go to San Jose, we are doing a Winchester tour, which hopefully we can do live. We need to contact them. Then I'm driving get ready for this, girlfriend. I'm going to drive up about an hour to Bovina or something. Anyway, where The Birds by Hitchcock was filmed.
Yeah, you told me that, you goofy bastard.
Oh, I did? Oh.
But that's still going to be cool.
I thought
My mom met Tippi Hedren right after that movie came out. That's pretty cool.
And I'm also going to see where Village of the Dam and The Fog was filmed. I'm very excited.
If you see any blonde kids, slap the shit out of them and run away.
Yes. And then also, a friend of mine's going to meet me there, and he's going to show me a haunted place that he says, like, his friends say is haunted. It's a dock where a guy was working on a boat and got electrocuted and fell in the water and died. And the house in front of the dock, like, they can't rent anymore because people hear something knocking on the dock and they see somebody walking down into the backyard.
That's
so
weird.
I'm going to do all that after the Winchester thing, and I'm so excited.
Well, that's neat for you. I have to go do work stuff, so yay and stuff. But also, can I read about Rapunzel now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a German tale as the name Rapunzel.
Ooh, German.
Has become the subject of much fashion. Oh my god. Fuck. Much fascination
over the years
and parody over the years within the idiom Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, 9 becoming all too memorable. The happy couple, however, had to endure many more trials and tribulations. Jesus, who did put this on here? Me.
You
than
did.
Is initially apparent, for they were only reunited after Rapunzel had been cast out, pregnant and alone, into the wilderness by an irate witch, while the prince was blinded after falling from the tower and into the thorny brambles below. And there are even more cynical versions of the narrative. In these, a pregnant Rapunzel is abandoned and forgotten by a prince who never had any intentions of marrying her. Presumably, this version was intended as a cautionary tale about the dangers of seduction.
Ooh.
That's fucked up.
So, hey, girls, if you up in a tower and you got like 20 feet of hair, just, be cool. Be cool about it. Don't be all like, yeah, I'm going to meet a prince. And
You climb my hair. That's fuck.
Some stranger's gonna come climb my hair up and hack. That's my feeling about that. Oh goody, I get to read about Red Riding Hood, which even the real, like the normal story's fucked up, so I can't wait to read about this shit, because that thing's like really fucked up.
Good. Yeah.
The Red Riding Hood lore has had so many reworkings that it's difficult to work out which is the earliest version. Though the most what the fuck is that word? Expurgated?
Though some versions simply
Something
have a
happened with the versions simply use the wolf as an allegory to warn against talking to strangers. Several darker accounts reveal a violent and destructive layer beneath the initial veneer. One version hints at the wolf and the grandmother being one and the same person. Another hints...
cross-dressing wolf grandmother.
Uh-huh. And then he takes her to Key West, and they're in the gay pride parade, and cross-dressing Grandma Wolf. Just kidding. No. Anyway,
I was listening, I swears.
No, I'm just like, really? Okay. Blah, blah. One version hints at the wolf and the grandmother being one and the same person. Another hints at Red Riding Hood graciously allowing the wolf to eat her grandmother before she kills the wolf. so as to be able to seize her grandmother's property. What a bitch.
She crafty.
The most disturbing, however, oh boy,
it's worse,
is probably, do I want to read this? The version that hints at bestiality. I knew we were gonna go there, god damn it. Yeah. In which Red Riding Hood uses her body to save herself. Let's move on to the beginning of this show. To save herself from death, thus consummating her live with the wolf on the very sheets upon which her grandmother was killed.
That's
God
cute,
damn.
Right? It's a good story.
That's not grim. That's fucked up. Fucked up fairy tales. That's not grim. Grim's like, and things didn't work out.
Okay. Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, boy.
The version in the Disney movie isn't weird enough that some bitch is so jealous of some other girl that she's like, you're gonna prick your finger and die. Yeah. And they're like, no, you're not gonna die. You're only gonna sleep until some man comes and kisses you when you don't consent to it. So, and you're underage. It's neat. So this is the even worser version, with a premise already bizarre and faintly disturbing in itself. Word. Many versions have already said. Versions of Sleeping Beauty actually end happily, with the spell being broken by true love's kiss. However, Charles Perrault's version offers a bizarre addition, claiming that the prince's mother is an ogress with a tendency towards devouring little children. I mean, only when they're shitheads. Perrault's Sleeping Beauty and her children narrowly escape being boiled and eaten thanks to the timely return of her husband, because the men have to save the day, and the kindly endeavors of a palace servant. Even so, the most disturbing recension of the story is the one in which the prince, captivated by the sleeping princess's beauty, assaults her, while she sleeps. The princess awakes, giving birth to twins, and the prince is long gone.
I mean,
he's just like a bee. He pollinated that little flower and then left.
God damn it. How crazy is it that we, like, for the first time in the 48 episodes of our show, we decide to talk about consent. And then, honestly, I didn't plan it because of these conversations, but wow. I mean, here we are. Yeah.
We are.
Y'all, just don't do bad shit. That's bullshit.
Be nice.
Be nice. As my son used to say, you're not nice to your princess. That's what he used to say to me. You're not nice to your son, talking about himself. So, be nice, okay?
Keep your pants parts to yourself. That's what we were saying.
Everything.
That you never were to hear.
And hands. Hands, mouth, and pants to your fucking selves.
Unless you're invited to a party in the pants, but you have to be invited by invitation only.
Give it like she's or he's spread wide. Like, yes, please accept my invitation. Don't drug them. Don't assume. And certainly don't cover their mouth and turn up the music. Anyway, moving on. Snow White. Known as the first fairy tale that Disney chose to lavish its magic upon. Oh boy, I can't wait for this. The guileless and charm of the cartoon Snow White has endured in the memories of many children and adults alike, especially with the catchy songs and the comic antics of the seven dwarves. And that's so great. Bleaker variations tell a completely different story, however, with implications of necrophilia by the prince. What?
Yeah.
And sexual degradation of poor Snow White at the hands of the seven dwarves who enslave her. Other obscure versions even hint that Snow White's father, the king, is so enamored with his daughter's beauty that an unhealthy obsession takes hold, thus forcing the princess to flee from the castle and into the clutches of the pervy, asshole, shitty motherfucking dwarves.
Yeah. So I've heard the joke on the internet that Snow White is just a slut who lives with 7 men. But now we know the real story is the 7 men are like holding her captive. So the more you
Rufus!
know. It's not cool, man. Okay, so then we went on the internet, Christy, mostly Christy, and we found some stories because we know y'all are unable to surf the internets yourself, with the exception of looking at porn. But anyway, so you're welcome in advance for stories that are not folktale related. And I'm not sure they can be scarier than the shit we just read, but okay. So just some general spooky stories. I was at a slumber party in 8th grade with a few of my friends when we decided to stupidly have a seance in her unfinished basement. We were having fun and giggling as we were trying to figure out who to summon when someone suggested Jack the Ripper. And if you don't know, why are you listening to our podcast? But also, he's a serial killer from the late 1800s. And I immediately got a pit. You have a pit in your stomach. Anyway, no, I spoke up. We shouldn't summon something evil. That's right, called a man's voice from the other end of the cellar. OMG. There were no boys or men there. We were home alone. Another girl and myself heard it. I'll never be the same.
Thanks for telling your story, Abby.
Are we going to have some like music for production value so that my drunken slurring sounds spooky instead?
No, I want the drunken slurriness to be the sound of the music.
It's this is like my legacy,
a wave of like drunkenness is taking over y'all's waves in the radio. Not really. I don't know what the fuck I'm even talking about. But anyway, because we're drunk. I mean, we're two drunk people operating a podcast, which, by the way, I'm opening a fucking Patreon so you guys can, like, contribute to our livers. Because if you guys like it so as much as, like, this, so Drunken Horror Story and Elizabeth Bathory are, like, the two most quickly and popularity is downloaded podcasts in our
so
history.
Popular.
In the 48 whatever missness 47 48 whatever this is of podcasts. So you guys clearly love us to be drunk. Then y'all are gonna have to contribute.
The internet loves drunk women.
I mean, do you really? Because now we gonna be bitches. Now that you've given us the power. So just remember that. Remember that.
With great power comes great drink responsibility.
Great. Yes. Yes, that's so true. All right. I'm going to read another one.
Do it.
From, who is this person? Okay, this person's name's Christy, and she spelled it the exact same as me, but it's not me.
I thought you wrote it.
No.
I was laughing.
No. It was not me. I was like, wow. And I didn't know when I pasted it that it was my turn because I was like adding them and I'm like, shit. No, they are. There's few and far between, but there are.
I have to pee again. Read it.
All right. I'm going to read while you go pee. Go.
I'm going to go pee right here. Okay, wait. Everybody ready?
No, don't pee in the... All right. I'm going to read. When I was a kid, we lived in a haunted house. Strange things happened all the time. For example, my dad and I were alone in the kitchen one day making a snack. We put a plate on our kitchen counter and walked away to the fridge. We got what we wanted out of the fridge, turned around to walk back to the counter, and the plate flew off the kitchen counter and broke on the floor. I'm being a little dramatic, but I'm enjoying this. My dad tried to calm me by saying the plate must have been blown off the counter. But let's face it, the plate wasn't near the edge of the counter, and there were no windows or doors open.
Or winders.
No one else was home. Weird. Literally quoting this, okay?
That's what that says, yes.
I'm quoting it. I also woke up to an old lady standing by my bed on more than one occasion. I told myself I was dreaming. This part might be dark, but here's the rest of the story. the rest of the story. What's that guy's called?
I don't know, but I'm so drunk I'm going blind. Anyway.
What's the name
The
of that?
third act.
That radio show where it was like, and here's the rest of the story. Oh,
I don't know. I don't listen to old radio
God
shows.
damn
What's
it.
a radio? I only know a podcast.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Years later, I looked up the address and found out that an old couple lived there for many years right before we moved in. Apparently, the house was broken into and the old woman was raped and murdered. The old man sold the house and moved. We were the first occupants since the incident. Anyway, my parents swear we moved so quickly because we got a better deal on another house nearby, but we know it was because the house was haunted and the priest they brought in to bless the place told them they should get the fuck out of there. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure whoever wrote that was a millennial because they end things with like, the old lady was raped and tortured, period, WTF, exclamation point. Like, I don't know. I want them to be like IRL, FML. Anyway, this is another one, and I feel like reading it with an accent because of the vocabulary is funny. My house was fraught with weird stuff happening when we first moved in. The kitchen table would move overnight 12 to 18 inches because I would measure in the mornings with my white gloves on. My keys will disappear and show up in the weirdest places, like my quilt trunk. Of course, because quilt trunk. Everyone has that. Christopher, my son, went into the basement, and things came flying off the shelf at him. He also saw someone walking on our wraparound porch, but no one was there. The most obvious one was a few years ago, and twice this happened. I was sweeping the kitchen floor, as one will do. The door to the porch started shaking uncontrollably. It was like someone was trying to open the door without turning the knob. Lasted about 15 seconds because I timed it. Keep in mind, this is a wraparound porch and completely enclosed. I knew it was bad because my dogs will bark at a butterfly passing the window, looked up at the door, and stepped back. Both times it happened, I was doing the same thing about the same time at night. By the way, and as a side note, I walked into the kitchen table, ouch, one night while going to the bathroom. It was not the first time I walked into the table because it moved. Or you're just a dipshit walking into stuff. So I just said, please stop moving the kitchen table, and it never moved again. Or you learn to walk around it. Barbara. Thank you, Barbara.
Hey, if Barbara, like assault victims, claims that she had a paranormal experience, God fucking A, I can't talk. So I asked my husband to bring me a new refreshed beverage, and he has poisoned me. He has made a very strong drink, which I am having a struggle of actually operating.
It's because he wants to see your boobies.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want to see my boobies? My boobies are great.
It's true.
Anyway, you'll see them. I'm like, yo, girl, you'll see them later. You're good.
Sooner than later, honk honk.
That's right. November.
Are you coming to New York, though, next, like, 2 weeks from now?
Okay. I don't know yet. I'm gonna try. I saw and now am responding and trying to figure this out. I don't know yet.
For the listeners, we have known each other X number of years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we've never met in person. So if you think I'm not going to actually feel her up after this many years of being friends,
but
not knowing what her boobies feel like, I have to do that. But I have consent. Do I have consent?
Yeah, totally. I give you consent to feel my boobies.
Okay.
They're fantastic.
I'm feeling more like motorboating. That's kind of my thing.
We've been virtually motorboating for years.
Yeah, it's time for it to happen. We've had like years of foreplay. It'll be fine.
If I can't go to New York when she goes, we already have absolutely concreted the time at Winchester in November.
Yeah.
Yes, we've concreted, motorboated the time in Winchester. So we're going to do that.
all of those words.
If I can go to New York, oh God, I would love to. I have so much going on. So just quick little timeout about my personal life, because everybody's got some shit. But so my dad has lung cancer, and my mom's in a mental institution, and she broke her hip, and a lot of shit's going on right now with my life. So I have to kind of figure out how to navigate everything. So I
feel like three days in New York with some motorboating will cure some of what ails.
I mean, I think it would probably cure you lung cancer. Seriously. Like, who?
Oh, no. Y'all know.
Who upon us has ruled out motorboating as a cure for cancer?
Rest save lives. Save lives is all I'm saying.
I sound like an asshole, and I'm sorry, because first of all, I have a lot of friends and family that are dealing with cancer.
Yes.
So please don't be mad at me for being so callous about it. I don't mean to.
Sometimes you gotta laugh or you'll cry.
I'm just kind of in that spot. Last night I went to my friend's home. She's one of my best friends, and I had to go to her home because she had an emergency appendectomy. On top of the fact that she just had double mastectomy breast cancer surgery. And was one of the people that experienced the mesh problem with, like, the recall.
Oh, my God.
And,
no.
Yeah, and she had a fucking hernia. So she, like, the shit this poor woman's gone through. So I went to her home last night and cooked her dinner, and we had a great time. But I just, like, I adore her so much. Like, my other Jamie, you know, not the Jamie in Mississippi. That's Jamie in Georgia. Good God. I mean, the shit this poor woman's gone through. And her fear of going to the hospital because she had a feeling that it was her appendix, but she had just cleared her bills from her double mastectomy cancer surgery, everything that she had to do with all that, which was years, like 5 years of surgeries, just cleared that out. And then here she is with the appendicitis. And it was devastating. And so I went over there last night and cooked her a lot of food, thinking, well, let me just do this. What the fuck else am I going to do? Like, it's horrible. It's a very useless feeling when your loved ones are going through such a bad time. So anyway, so I did that. And I don't even know where I was going with this. But anyway, I just want y'all to know that we are, all of us, the three of us, are close. And we adore each other. And then, if not October, but definitely November, me and Moni are going to go and have an awesome vacation trip. And we're going to document this bad boy for the masses. Right, sweetheart?
Yeah. Yeah. But you're risking me becoming sober with all this serious talk. We don't want that.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's cool. You can be sober. What did we just read before?
I read in a British accent. It was a highlight of the day.
That's right.
You were at the Minnesota, yeah.
I'm in Minnesota. Okay. So, M420.
What does that mean?
She says, when I lived in Minnesota, I would go over to my friend's house a lot. One day, I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and I heard a girl screaming in my right ear. It was like she was screaming at the top of her lungs, but the volume was turned down. So it wasn't the true volume of the scream, which I get. Okay. There was nothing there, obviously, so I just wrote it off. A week later, one of the guys whipped his head around and said, I just heard a girl screaming. We both knew there was no one else in the house. I didn't hear a girl screaming, but then neither did anyone else hear when she screamed in my ear. I don't think she was mean or bad. I think she was sad and lonely, wanting attention. Oh, man. I mean, that's sad.
Yeah.
Sad,
Wait, what?
sad, lonely ghosts.
Oh, I thought you were going to read the last line. Okay, so yeah, pull up or pull out. One day when my daughter was 2, we were having a typical terrible twos moment. Oh, I feel you so hard. Mine's turning 2 next week.
That's why I signed this to you. I was like, oh, this is
God.
Momies.
Yeah. Jesus. She was throwing a tantrum for about 5 to 10 minutes and we couldn't get her under control. At some point, she rather suddenly stopped and started staring at the wall. She then started lightly giggling. It was weird. In 1 second, she was crying and screaming, and the next, she was smiling and happy. Well, that's just being a toddler. They're crazy. Then she starts saying funny lady over and over. We asked her who she saw, and she pointed to the wall and said the funny lady. When we asked her to describe who she saw, okay, first of all, she's 2. She described my deceased grandmother. I mean, exactly described her. She never met her, and I don't think had ever seen a picture. Not that a 2-year-old would remember a picture. I am not much a believer in the paranormal, but I know for sure that my daughter got a chance to meet my grandma, and that makes me happy. Aw, shucks. When I told this story to my parents, they didn't seem as shocked as I was, probably because she's 2. When I tried to get a response from them, they looked at me and said, I guess you don't remember that you met your deceased grandfather when you were 3. The exact same thing happened to you 30 years ago. Okay, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Redditor Big Chala. That's who did that.
Big Chala.
Big Chala. Okay. Are you going to talk about the next episode, or am I... Have you seen Gerald's Game on Netflix?
No.
Okay. So Yardley says, he's not here, so we're pouring one out for the homie. But he says we're going to watch Gerald's Game, and if you want to watch along with us, it's available on Netflix now. And, of course, it follows in with our recent Stephen King kick because it's in the Stephen King canon. And spoilers, it's about old people fucking. So get ready for some hot old lady in her in her lingerie, all for the
hot old lady.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I'll just say now, I liked it well enough. So especially for the cost of your included Netflix, it's a Netflix original. So watch it. And can I shamelessly plug for a second?
You can do anything you want because we got lots of time. Do your thing.
September 20. Okay. Banned Books Week is next week. If you're not familiar with Banned Books Week, it's basically a celebration
books
of like all of the books that are often challenged. And I'm talking about like everything from the Scarlet Letter to Harry Potter, just all the books that frequently have a lot of people complaining about because libraries, as a rule, through the American Library Association, are anti-censorship. So libraries and schools and all these different places of education celebrate Banned Books Week. September, this week, it's the last week of September. So this month, this year, it's the 24th through the 29th. And that means that your local libraries and your schools and all these places, if they're doing the jobs, I'm calling you out, libraries, will have displays to give you access basically to all these books that you may not normally read or you may not normally have on your radar that have been challenged due to censorship issues. So that being said, Image Comics, they have some great shit. Look them up. Image Comics has a Twitch. I don't even know what those words mean because I'm an old lady. But apparently Twitch is a social media site where you can like live stream stuff. And all week long, library professionals are going to be interviewing Image Comics creators, like famous people in the comic book realm. And my shameless plug is September 29th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So that's not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. I will be interviewing, I'm calling him Scotty fucking Young because I'm super excited. Scotty Young, the creator of I Hate Fairyland, Rocket Raccoon comics. He's done a lot of kid little like really cutesy little Marvel variant covers. He's pretty cool. I Hate Fairyland is a really fun, quick read if you're into comics. He did Rocket Raccoon before the Guardians movies came out, so they're kind of independent of Guardians, but they're still the same characters with Rocket and Groot. Anyway, I will be doing 45 minutes of talking with Scotty Young about how censorship has affected him as an artist, and then we will be taking respectful questions from the audience on Twitch, and this is the Image Comic Twitch page. So if anybody wants to tune in for that, it will be live, and I'm sure it will live on Twitch if that's how Twitch even works for at least a week after that. So check it out. And the following week, I'll be at New York Comic Con, as we mentioned. And I'm going to New York. I've only been there once. I kind of ran away from home when I was a teenager and went to New York for a week. So this will be my second time ever going there, and I'm going on my own so far, and it's going to be super fun. But I'm going to talk about...
I'm going to try to come with you. I won't try.
Yes. I have an extra bed, so there'll be motorboating if she comes, but I'm still going to talk about comics.
I will have my boobies
live
ready.
At New York Public Library, so
we'll have my boobies ready.
Yes, boobies and breasts. So those are the two things I have upcoming. We're going to have to tweak our schedule a little bit for that week because I won't be here on Sunday, but it'll be fun. So there's my shameless plugs, libraries and banned books, and fuck the censors. Yeah.
Fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
Also, I'd just like
but not actually.
I'd like to say before we close, because I think this was a weirdly female, male, boundary problem focused
drunken train wreck.
If you have a problem and would like to have talk to somebody, you can contact 1-855-4-VICTIM. So please, if you feel like you've been a victim of a crime, been harassed or assaulted, please call this number and they can help you, or by all means reach out to us and we'll figure something out. Like I would never ignore or allow somebody that reached out to me that could not figure this out. We'll figure it out together. So everybody, horrible way to end a podcast. Sorry, but I just had to say. I mean, really, we do need to say this though. You guys, it's okay if bad shit's happened. Not your fault. So we love you guys. Good God. I mean, our podcast audience is growing like crazy. And I don't mean to sound like other weird people who love to brag about that, but I mean, maybe we're reaching people that just need to hear this. So if you need help, if you've got a problem, just reach out to us and we'll help you. Otherwise, 1-855-4-VICTIM would be a good place to start. So we love you. Moni, you got anything else to say?
Jeez, how do I follow that act? No, like ditto and hashtag that's what she said.
Yes.
Because it'll be cool. Reach out. I'm not a shrink, but like I play one
on TV.
On TV. Yeah.
No. You know what? I've known Moni for a long time. We've been I wouldn't have started this if I didn't feel like some sort of trust, and I can't wait to actually meet her in person. But also, it's going to complete kind of a circle because I know Yardley. He's such a stand-up guy, and we're all here for anybody that needs help.
Yeah.
And also, Moni is just a fucking warrior. Shut up. Don't laugh about that. Don't be silly. I mean, really. You really are. You work hard with what you do. And I respect that. So,
thank you.
Nothing else to add there. So you guys all creeping it real. And we're drunk, but we're also very, very, when we're drunk.
Apparently thoughtful drunks, yes.
Apparently, we are very loving, thoughtful drunks that care about everybody. So, if you get mad at this, then kindly click the
Don't listen
unfollow
anymore.
button. We love you.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
everybody else, and I absolutely adore my co-host. So I cannot wait to see Moni, and she can grab my boobs. So with that, creep it real, you guys.
Peace out.
Everybody's raving about the real Frenchy two-step. Everybody wants to do this most fancy new step. It's a funny bear, Paris on a tear. Well, I do declare it is classy. Gabby brought the dance and it's got us all a-going. Since she came, no other twirl has had any showing. It's a music treat for your dancing feet. It is flashy but neat. Just a twist and a bend.